Okay, we're ready for the cooking part. Actually, I think that the one of the main points of a cobbler is to cook it on a stovetop first before you put it into the oven. We will put it into the oven. Obviously, with the cobbler, you have it in a baking dish, and you put your dough on top of it in order to make the biscuits that go on top of a cobbler. So you have just a regular saucepan, I do a larger size one to make sure everything fits in. We take your dry goods here, put them, so we added our sugar that we measured previously. Our cornstarch goes in here. And we didn't get all of our cornstarch out, so I'll take the little spoon and help get it all out. We've got our allspice right here. And our nutmeg. We'll mix that all up so it's all together. You can see that it's turning this sort of tannish color, and I just slathered stuff all over the stove. I may have mentioned before that my wife thinks I'm a sloppy cook, and I think I'm living up to that reputation here. So we have that all mixed up. You can see all the grains are sort of mixed together, spread apart pretty evenly. So we will add our apples to this. Stir this in to coat our apples pretty well. Make sure our apples are coated in all of the sugar and all the spices and the cornstarch. And so you can see how that's coming together. There's still a lot of sugar and stuff at the bottom. Make sure we get everything coated pretty well. It doesn't matter if there's still some left at the bottom or not, because it's ultimately going to cook through. I do not have the heat on right now, just to point that out. I did not start the fire here yet. Just making sure this thing's well coated. And there, it seems to be well coated. And then we will add our bourbon. And depending on how things go during the cooking process, we may add or subtract. Oops. Anyway, you dropped an apple into the stove. Fell into the stove, I can put it back in. Try to keep the stove fairly clean. If it falls on the floor, I have to throw it away. So here we go. You can see, and you can kind of see the little juices down here and the sauce. Just make sure that you can see all that. So it looks pretty good. So I'm going to turn the heat on here. Put that a little bit higher than medium. And hold on just a second. Okay, I've taken the camera off of the tripod so you can see everything. You can see here's the full fire. One thing you want to make sure if you're using a gas stove is that the fire doesn't go on the outside of the pan. So if it's like that, you can see you're wasting a lot of heat, and you're going to heat up your handle and everything. Making it so that the next time you go to touch your handle, you actually burn yourself. You want to keep your handle nice and cool. And then here are the apples with the seasonings. So they look pretty good here. And see if I can show you some of this. You can see the liquid down here at the bottom. That's what you want to get thickened. What you want to do now is bring this liquid to a boil. And then you want it to simmer for about a minute, and then you can take it off the stove. Okay, well, it didn't take very long. You can hear it simmering away here. So this will be boiling fairly soon. It looks fairly liquidy, so I think I'm going to add another tablespoon of cornstarch here. And we'll see if we can get this to be just a little bit thicker. So rather than try to put the camera back on the tripod and then do it, I'm just going to do this one-handed. So we have our cornstarch. That's about a tablespoonful. We'll put this in here. Try to spread it out so it doesn't get lumpy. And just stir this all back in. Said I've never done an apple cobbler before, so we're learning together here. Let's bring this to a boil and see if this doesn't do what we need it to do. So we'll be back in a minute. Okay, we're boiling away. It looks pretty thick, and then it's thickening up nicely here. You can see it looks a little bit thicker. So I think we're ready. We're just going to let this then boil like this for a minute. I have the timer set up here. You can see it's set for 1 minute. So we'll set it, we'll let it go, and we'll be back in a minute. You can even hear it. It sounds great. Okay, our minute's up. Our timer's going off. You can see that this has thickened up. See how it makes this nice, pretty thing here. And we are ready to take this off of the heat. We've actually left it on a little bit too long, trying to get the camera ready. So I'm going to take this off the heat. And I'm going to see if I can do this one-handed again. It's a pretty heavy pan. But I'm just going to take this off of here, bring it over to here, put this into our baking dish. We also just flatten this out. Looks pretty good. Smells great. And then what we're going to do, what I like to do with the cobbler is I like to have it freshly baked out of the oven right after dinner. And so what I'm going to do is let this sit here and cool, and then I'm going to go over here and we're going to put together the ingredients for the biscuits that go on top of the cobbler. So I'll show you that in just a minute here, and we can have this sitting here and ready to go right until then dinner. When dinner's done, we'll add the milk, make the biscuits together, put the biscuits in and put it in the oven, and then half an hour after dinner starts, the cobbler will be ready, so it'll be ready just in time.